we're gonna start to put together our scene. This is a great way to kind of practice. Although we have been building furniture, amongst other things, in recent tutorials. In this video, we're gonna practice kind of putting them all into one scene together. So we can kind of get started with that. If you notice, I have opened up our first file that we were kind of working on for all of this, which was your room tutorial build file. Okay, and in here we're going to start bringing in our furniture. So if you remember, we have a couple things. We have our table, we have our mattress, we do have our dresser, we also have a bathtub, and we have a bunch of bottles, cups, a bottle, and also your vases. And then last but not least, we have our manta ray ship, which we can kind of drop into the cement as well. So we're going to kind of practice that. So here we go. If you're bringing in anything, you can use the import option. Yeah, so I'm going to go to File. Okay, and I'm going to choose the import option. Now, before I go and click on that, I'm going to go to the settings. Yeah, so I'm going to click on the square over here. Okay, and we are going to take off one thing. Yeah, so I'm going to ask you to take off this use namespaces option. Yeah, so I'm going to take off this use namespace option. And this will kind of clean up the name when it arrives in the scene. Yeah, so after that we can go ahead and click on the import option over here. Okay, I will be selecting our table first, so I'm going to click on that one and then go ahead and choose import. Okay, and then what you immediately notice is your table shows up in your scene. Very probably it's going to be much larger. Okay, the other thing is you'll notice in your outliner, we also have our table gets imported. Now, one thing you'll notice about the file is like when it gets imported into the outliner, it also takes on the name of the file itself. Yeah. Now I'm going to use this to our advantage. Right now, I probably don't want to have it labeled like as descriptively as this is. I would rather just call it table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on it, highlight it, and copy. Okay, and then we're going to attempt to rename it. So you can go up into your modify menu. We are going to choose the search and replace names option. Yeah, so again, modify, search, and replace names. Okay, now when we click on here, a window will pop up. We can do a quick search for this information. So what I'm going to do is I'm looking for this exact naming scheme. So I'm going over here. I'm going to do a paste. Yeah, so I did a double click and Command C over here. I'm then going to do a Command V to paste this in over here. Okay, and instead of having all of this be called name of the file 001 and then table again, I'm just going to copy table and paste that in right over here. Yeah, so that'll be the replacement. Okay, and it may already be in hierarchy. Because I have this selected already though, I'm going to choose selected instead and then go ahead and click on replace, and what that'll do is that'll relabel the table. Okay, so it just looks a little bit cleaner. Yeah, especially for longer names, it'll start to like not fit in your outliner. Yeah, so we're getting away from that. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the move tool to kind of bring the table outside for a little while. We are going to shrink it down. One thing that I'm noticing about this table though is that it does have a pivot point right in the center. To make things easier for us though, we're going to try to keep this table grounded or like on the floor. So we can do that by moving our pivot point first. So I'm going to click on make sure the table is selected. I'm then going to press the D key, and when we press D, remember that gets you into pivot point mode. Yeah. I'm also going to, after going into pivot point mode, I'm then going to press V. Yeah, and then you'll notice that it'll get into our snap option. I'm going to drag that down, and I'm going to drag it to one of the corners for the legs. Yeah, so this one's okay, this one's okay, this one's okay, and this one's okay. Yeah, so you can pick any of those options. This will be our anchor for when we're doing our scaling. Yeah, because clearly we do need to scale down our table. Okay, when we're done with that, I'm just going to go ahead and jump out of pivot point mode. So I'm going to press D again. Okay, and that'll get us back into our regular move tool. I can jump back into my perspective tool and kind of slide this into the scene. Yeah, so I'm going to kind of slide it in here. Then I'm thinking like in the main room, I kind of want it to be set over there. The other thing I'm noticing right here is that the table is off the ground, under the ground. So I'm going to press V, drag this up, yeah, and by doing that, it'll make sure that the table is actually on the ground itself, yeah, instead of under or above. Okay, once we're on here, I can then scale it. Yeah, if I scale it, if you remember, that's your R, and it'll, because we moved our pivot point down to this corner, yeah, that's where it'll stay anchored. So even when I'm scaling, I'm not gonna have to do any vertical movement. Yeah, so I can kind of scale it to the location that I want it, and I won't have to reorient it back on the floor. Yeah, so I'm thinking like I'll put the table and kind of drop it off over here. Yeah. Now, as far as you folks go, if you can just make sure you bring your table in. I'm not too picky about where you do it, as long as it is ending up on the floor, and as long as it's in a decent proportion. Yeah, so how you envision the table looking. Okay, so I'm thinking, yeah, this is probably a good spot. I'll leave the table right over there. I'm now going to go through the process a little bit quicker for all of the other items. Yeah, so I'm gonna go back into my file menu. Once again, I am going to import. Let's see, yeah, I am gonna import. So let's get back to file, choose import. I already have my use namespaces checked off. Okay, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm gonna bring in the dresser next. Yeah, so I'm gonna bring that in, choose the import option. Okay, there's our dresser. You'll notice that our outliner has started to get a little bit crowded once again, yeah, below the table. So here's all our dresser files. I am gonna select all of these. Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of grab this text right here. So double click and then copy. And then I'm going to shift select everything that includes that dresser over here. And then last but not least, I'm going to attempt to change the name. So I'm going to go back to modify once again. Okay, I'm going to go into my search and replace names. This time I'm going to replace this right here and copy paste in. So and put my the name of the file plus the underscore over here. Okay, now the reason why I'm doing this part and not taking the whole thing is because I do want to keep all of this information. Yeah, so I do want it to still be called dresser. I still want to note which ones are our drawers, and yeah, and which ones are part of a group. Yeah, and the row information. Yeah, so over here I'm gonna keep that, but anytime it has this option, I want it to actually be replaced by or taken away. So right over here I'm gonna delete and then just press the space bar. Yeah, so one time. Again, we still have selected the radio button next to selected is there, and then I'm going to go ahead and click on replace, and what that should do is rename everything nice and cleanly. Okay, now the other thing you may notice about this is that our dresser is still a little bit it's still a little bit not too organized. I do want to make sure that this is fully combined in a group. Yeah, so we can still move this out. Yes, if you can move the dresser out. One thing that is going to happen though is if we do any kind of movements, like say we try and do a rotate, okay, everything could potentially spin, yeah, for your dresser. So if that's the case, we're going to actually put this in a group instead. So I'm just going to select all of these, do Command G, okay, rename this, yeah, and then we'll call this dresser, yeah, and then there's my group for it. Our pivot point, yeah, is gonna end up back at our origin, yeah, which is not ideal. Yeah, we do want it like on the leg, yeah, so kind of the same thing with the table. We want to anchor it. So again, I'm gonna go back to my move tool, press D, yeah, to get into pivot point mode. I'm gonna press V to get it to snap, and holding down V, I'm now gonna move this pivot point onto one of the edges of one of the legs, yeah. Okay, that'll get us in a good spot. The other thing I'm going to do is make sure that I'm moving the whole dresser group down so that it's touching the floor. So I'm going to go ahead and press D again to get out of pivot point mode. I'm going to press V so that it's snapping the entire dresser group, and snap that so that it is on the floor. Yeah, so looks like that's right there. That should be the floor right there. Okay, maybe a little bit hard to see. Looks like it's inside of the house for me, but that should kind of work. Okay, and then yeah, looks like it's on the floor. And then when I do my scale, yeah, for the dresser group, again, it'll stay anchored. Yeah, so I can kind of drop that off. And let's see, maybe I want the dresser up against this wall over here. So I'm just gonna do my rotation. Yeah, so that'll be rotate Y, put that at 90 degrees. Okay, and then I'll just move that so that it is up against this wall right by the entrance to the bathroom. So you can kind of leave it right over there, yeah. All right, okay, so there's our dresser. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Okay, The other thing I'm gonna be dropping off on here are my other items. Yeah, so again, same process. Yeah, go back to the import. This time I'm going to go and find the mattress and the bathtub. Yeah, so you can kind of bring both of those in. Yeah, these will both be set up a little bit differently. Again, take a look at the name of it. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the name of the file. Yeah, so that's all of this stuff. Copy it, then select both of these items that I brought in. I can then go into my modify, search and replace names once again. We'll copy paste this in there. Yeah, so mattress and bathtub, and then we're gonna replace that with nothingness. Yeah, so again, just leave a space. Okay, choose replace, and then now we have our mattress and bathtub cleanly named. We'll leave the mattress and the bathtub. We'll drag them outside a little bit just so we can see our pivot points once again. I just realized like I did not smooth out the bathtub and did not tell you folks to smooth out the bathtub either. So we'll get that going. If I'm finalizing, I kind of like the look of this. I'm gonna press 1 for both of these. Yeah, so they'll go back into blocky form. But we're then gonna go to mesh and smooth that. So smooth the mattress probably twice. Yeah, so here's the first smooth, and then I'll do a second one. Yeah, they'll soften it up enough. Yeah, and then same thing with the bathtub. So I'm gonna go mesh, smooth, check it out. Okay, this actually looks pretty close to what I already wanted. So I'm not gonna smooth that out anymore. But yeah, that's good. Kind of depend on your style. I could actually do one more smooth on this one. Okay, remember though, one of these things is you don't want to keep smoothing unnecessarily because it just adds a lot of weight to your objects that you're creating. Yeah. Okay, but I do have my mattress here. Once again, it's kind of floating off of the ground. So just like before, just like everything else, I'm going to go into my move tool. Go into D to pivot point mode, hold down V and drag your pivot point down to the bottom of the mattress, then press D to jump that out. Okay, and then now I have the full mattress selected. I'm then going to press V. Okay, snap that to the ground. Okay, a little bit hard to see right there, but it is looking like it's in the house. Okay, and then I can actually use my top view. I'm going to put shading and wireframe unshaded so I can kind of see this, but I'm going to kind of drop this off. So I guess I'll have my mattress on the floor right about here. Should be pretty good. Yeah, so up against the wall. Good spot. Okay, as far as the bathtub goes, I'm going to pretty much do the same thing. Yeah, so select. Yep. Go ahead and press D. Yeah, pivot point mode, press V for snap. I'm going to snap that near to the corner, but not quite, because the corners are a little bit curved. Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit off the ground. Yeah, so I'm probably snap it maybe right to here instead. Okay, and then again, get out of pivot point mode by pressing D. Okay, and then making sure that I can snap this to the ground. So pressing V with the whole object, yeah, the whole bathtub. Get that right on top of the ground, which looks like it's right here. Yeah, so that should be the ground right there. And then once again, just like before, yeah, we're gonna drop this off. Again, we'll drop this off in the bathroom, yeah, so kind of be the spot. And then I'll use my top view to align this as cleanly as possible, yeah, so probably about here. And then maybe we'll snuggle this up in the corner, yeah, so that'll be our bathtub over there. All right, so we got some decent things going on in here. Bathtub actually, yeah, I think I'm kind of okay with it, yeah, as far as the proportion goes. Okay, and then now we can bring in our bottles, our vases, and so on. Yeah, we do have a windowsill if you want to use that for the bottles. I'm going to go ahead and drop off some things for that. Yeah, so again, we're going to import, get our cups, bottles, and vases. We can drop that in. Okay, here's all of our pieces once again. For these ones, the cool thing is the pivot point is going to stay at our origin. Yeah, so we could actually, when we resize, we don't have to worry too much about it. We do have to rename these though. So I'm going to kind of double click on the name over here, borrow that. Okay, once again, modify, go into search and replace names. Okay, we'll paste that in here. Okay, and then I'm going to take off everything except the name of the object. Yeah, so that was my cup. And then again, keep this at one space, yeah, and then I can then use it for all of these and do a replace. So now we got our cup, our goblet, and our bottle. Okay, if I select the bottle, I can use that. I can kind of scale that down. Okay, and then maybe I'll have this one like on the dresser. Yeah, so I could drop this off on the dresser. Again, we still have our pivot point, yeah, so in my perspective view, yeah, if I go shading, maybe I'll go wireframe unshaded, and then I'll go shading and X-ray, yeah, and then I'll drop this stuff on the dresser. So if I hold down V, yeah, I can kind of snap this right to the top of the dresser right there, yeah, and then I can scale this down. Again, our pivot point is in the perfect spot for this sort of thing, and that looks like about a pretty good proportion. And then when I go back to my perspective view, yeah, I can then align it, yeah, so maybe I want the bottle like right over here, yeah, so yeah, so maybe I just left my bottle there. Okay, and then you can kind of repeat this process for everybody else, yeah, so the goblet, right, same thing. We use our scale tool, shrink that down, yeah, so until it's a proportion that works for us. Okay, and then this one maybe we'll put on the windowsill. Yeah, so I'm gonna jump back to this view. Okay, I can't quite see my windowsill. Looks like it's right there. Okay, all right, so I can see my windowsill. I'm gonna press my V. Okay, snap that to the windowsill right there. Okay, I'll make sure that it actually is going to kind of land okay. That's not too bad. I'm probably gonna have to shrink it down a little bit just because I didn't make the windowsill very, very thick. And then yeah, this could kind of work. And this is also like a place where you guys can put your vases and stuff, yeah. The 3 vases that you're gonna create, that you created on your own. And then also our cup, yeah. So same thing. Again, scale, yeah. Press V. In our side view, okay, I'll snap that. This one I'm probably gonna try to put on the table, so I'll drop that right about here. Let's see, where is the table? Oh, there it is, yeah. And again, I'm pressing V. I'm trying to get it right into that little bit of a yeah, it's not bad over there. Okay, and then yeah, we'll just kind of get it so that it's right at this corner over here probably. So boom, right there, and then yeah, we can kind of slide it into place, yeah, so wherever our cup needs to be. So you kind of leave that there, scale it down, yeah, and then there's our little accessories, yeah, so it feels a little bit more lived in. Okay, and then last but not least, we're going to have our spaceships, yeah, so our spaceships, we can kind of drop those in. Again, same process, right? File, import. Okay, where's our manta ray ships? Over here. I'm going to import that one. Okay, there's all our ships. Once again, I'm going to copy paste the name of it. We're going to rename it. So here we go, search and replace. Drop that in. Okay, I'm going to take off this information right here, and then replace right with a spacebar. Make sure that I have all 3 of these selected, and then do a replace. Okay, so we got manta ray ship, that, and then we have smooth and smoother. I'm actually gonna rename this a little bit, yeah, so at least I know which one I'm kind of working with each one. Okay, we can kind of drop those off. Yeah, so manta ray ship, smooth and smoother. Okay, and then we'll get these spaceships out of there, so we can use the move tool just so you can kind of see it a little bit better. Just like before in the front view, we probably want to make sure that we're able to kind of place them in a good spot. Looks like my pivot point I'll probably do at the wings, yeah, so for this one, yeah, W, D, then press V, snap it, we'll get it right on that corner. Same thing with this one. Oh shoot, my bad, I'm still in my pivot point mode over there, and then press D. Get to the second one, same thing, W, D, then V, drag it over, and then once I got that line, I'll press D again, then one more time over here, W, D, V. Okay, we'll snap it to that corner. Okay, and then we can pretty much snap these to the ground as well. So, oh shoot, I keep moving the pivot point to the wrong spot. Yeah, so D, V, sorry, D, V, snap that to the corner, and then D. So I'm not jumping out of the tool correctly. Again, D, V, snap it to the corner, D to get out. Okay, and then let me double check on that one. That looks good. Okay, and then I'm gonna snap this to the ground. So I'm gonna press V. Okay, bring this down. There's the corner for that one. This one too. Press V. That's on the ground. This one right here, last one. Press V. Snap that to the ground. Okay, now I have all of my spaceships over there. I can kind of place this in different areas. So maybe I'll have one, yeah, on the main table. So I'll go ahead and drop this off over there. So I use the side view to place it. Let's see, there you are. Okay, couldn't find you at first. Okay, and then again, we'll drop this off in the corner. So I'll press V, drop this off right there. Yeah, so it's on top of that table top. Okay, and then slide it over and drop it in, and maybe I'll have this one like maybe someone was playing with their spaceship on the table or something, so you kind of drop that off right over there. Yeah, so that's looking pretty good. Okay, so that's one, and then we can kind of leave the other two. Yeah, so maybe we'll park another one on the cabinet. So I'm gonna move that over. Yeah, but feel free to drop these off wherever you feel like you want to display them. Yeah, so I'm gonna drop this one off right there. Yeah, use the scale tool, bring that down. Okay, so maybe this is a smaller one. Take a look at it in my perspective view. Oops, yeah, there we go. Okay, and then I'll move this over to here. Again, maybe a little bit of rotation. Yeah. Okay, and then we can always, once you kind of have it in place, you can also maybe I'll drop it off here. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, and then yeah, once you have it in place, you can kind of like move your pivot point again. Yeah, this is only for snapping purposes. Yeah. Okay, and then last but not least, maybe we'll have one in the tub. Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of move this here. Okay, go and find the tub. I see it back there. So again, V, holding down V. We're gonna find the bottom of the tub, which is right over here. Yeah, so again, holding down V. Okay, I'm gonna jump to there. We'll scale it down. Yeah, so it'll kind of be like a, I don't know, like a rubber ducky. It is a manta ray ship after all. Yeah, so we might be able to. Yeah, it kind of might make sense to actually have it in the tub, and then I'll kind of put it like in the corner over here. Okay, but that's pretty much it. That's us placing things, yeah, and like in kind of in a somewhat controlled fashion, yeah, with our pivot point. All right. Okay. Now, once you have everything in place, yeah, you're good to go. Please make sure you save this, and yeah, that's it for our build phase of the tutorial. We will at some point be coming back to something, a scene that's similar to this, just so we can kind of practicing our coloring and texturing, and then eventually our lighting.